change much of China's behavior, and in many ways they became more aggressive. But here's the thing. Even with all the economic downsides, a review by the Biden administration suggested Trump's tariffs should remain, and the administration should add or increase them, which they did.
Once tariffs get in place, there are two factors that sort of keep them in place for some time. First of all, there are going to be domestic interest groups that have a stake in seeing those tariffs maintained because they like the extra market share that they've gained as a result of those tariffs. And second of all, tariffs are a bargaining chip. So why would we sort of unilaterally get rid of these, even if there's some economic benefits, when we might use it in some negotiations down the road?
Tariffs are really hard to remove. It's why, 60 years later, there's still a 25% tariff on trucks, even though U.S. chicken farmers no longer care about selling in Europe.
So we're still living with the legacy of the chicken war. So that's sort of another lesson of history, is you have to be careful about imposing these tariffs because you think you're doing it for short-term strategic reasons or you're just helping out this industry temporarily, but they can last for decade upon decade upon decade.
Tariff policy is kind of old. Even by the chicken war, they were only imposed on around 7% of U.S. imports. Trump's plan for a second term is to bring them back dramatically.
This is the policy that built this country, and this is the...
Yeah, also, there's never been a point in American history, as far as I know, and maybe I'm wrong, someone can correct me on this, where tariffs have been implemented across the board on 40% of all trade. 45, to be exact. China, Canada, and Mexico make up 45% of all trade in the United States. But can't tariffs also weaken international rivals if America trades with its allies instead of the same stuff, even without domestic manufacturing? Dude, this is literally to fucking cut off your nose to spite your face, okay? You're just describing that as a successful policy. You're also talking about Canada and Mexico as international rivals. These are two of America's most important trade partners. What are you saying? Do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? Do you just type shit into the abyss and hit enter without thinking?
The policy that will save our country.
He's proposing a 60% tariff on everything from China and a 10 or even 20% on every import from every other country.
Countries are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world.
Multiple independent studies looked at the possible.
Yeah, he means like, dude, I'm only listening to JD Pandon. When he says this, I'm thinking about it as like retaliatory. He's saying that the countries will finally pay us back for all the war and the death and the destruction and the unequal exchange that we have implemented as we have relegated the global south into servile status. As we have routinely kept them down, they are coming back and they will fight back hard. And they will destroy our treats economy. That's what he's saying. I swear, he's like, they're going to pay us all back. Do you think this is just a way of disingenuously introducing a massively regressive tax? Yes, I do think that. And I also think that he will utilize this. I don't think he will do it across the board. I don't think he's doing this across the board anyway. He's claiming to do it across the board. I'd be shocked if he did it. I think he's doing it to bring American corporate owners, like industry leaders, to heel. To come and kiss the ring, I think.
One found it would cost the average American household $1,700 from higher prices. Another found it could cost more than 684,000 jobs. And they don't factor in how domestic goods might get more expensive, or retaliatory tariffs from other countries.
They're not going to take this lying down. They're not going to change their behavior in some way to appease the administration that imposes such tariffs.
The dutiable tariff rate peak of 1932 is 59.1%, second only to the 61.7% rate of 1830. Okay, so the last time was 100 years ago, where we did not have the same logistical international supply chains that we had created that we now desperately rely on. That's crazy. Yeah. Another key problem there, of course, is this is pre-globalization and during the Great Depression. This is totally nutty.
They're going to retaliate. So not only will U.S. imports shrink, but U.S. exports will shrink as well.
Trump wants to use these tariffs as a revenue stream for the U.S. to pay for tax cuts.
As tariffs on foreign countries go up, taxes on American workers and families.
Studies found his proposal would likely bring in around $250 billion per year, about 5% of what the federal government currently brings in with taxes. So if tariffs are harmful, always harmful even to the economy, why is Trump so focused on them? In the last 20 years, China
The answer is because he's a fucking psycho. Okay, let's
has
see.
gotten aggressive, investing in manufacturing to become the world's largest exporter. Even today, they invest more than any other country. It has let them export things like steel and aluminum at below market values. That, coupled with numerous trade rule violations.
It's funny to say this as like in an ominous way. China's become the industrial powerhouse of the world, but it's bad. It's unfair and bad. Wow, it turns out centralized planning is impossible to compete against. And the American centralized planning that has no long-term goals in mind and is basically just a money faucet for corporations that will give nothing back to the American public in return is probably not a very good idea. You cannot compete with a nation state that has 10-year, 20-year, 30-year plans set in motion and has the power to execute them because, and I repeat this all the time, America, the American government, works at the behest of corporations. In China, the corporations work at the behest of the government.
Allowed President Trump to really restart the whole discussion about using tariffs to achieve certain objectives, such as punishing other countries, and the Biden administration has just continued that. So the whole environment has...
Like, we have always tried to positively incentivize our producers by utilizing subsidies, okay, to keep prices in order. That is the maximum amount of centralization that happens in America. Corporations, on the other hand, can just take those subsidies and reframe it in a way that it still benefits shareholder value rather than the actual stakeholders, such as the workers that work at these corporations. And we demand nothing in return. Like, the American government demands nothing in return. They can do buybacks. They can do whatever the fuck they want. We've deregulated every aspect of the American economy. And then we're just like, oh, this is shocking. How the fuck? Why aren't things working in the way that we want them to? China doesn't operate that way. This is how complex manufacturing even a bottle of root beer is. Ingredients: molasses from the United States, anise from Spain, licorice from France, vanilla bourbon from Madagascar, cinnamon from Sri Lanka, cloves from Indonesia, wintergreen from China, pimento berry oil from Jamaican balsam oil from Peru. Now imagine a computer or a F-150 pickup truck. Yep. Most parts of it are also, the raw materials are coming from all around the planet. Most parts are assembled in Mexico and then assembled once again in the United States of America. But like, so many of the key components are coming from China. What do?
Has really changed from...
If you want, you act as China is a good example to follow. Actually, true though, China steals our military equipment, bro. First of all, I'm not saying that. You know who's saying that? This graph. You know who's saying that? The Wall Street Journal. Okay? It's not me saying it. Like, I'm just simply repeating facts. Okay? Now, they might not favor your understanding of the world. They might not favor what you want the world to be. Okay? Why did I just open Insta to your balls? First of all, it wasn't my balls. It was my shaft. Okay? And secondly, that wasn't supposed to be the main part of the photo. The photo was to show gains, not the meat gains that I've made over the years, but instead the gains I've made over the years on my body fat percentage and musculature. Nice shaft, dude. Thanks. This is skewed, though. The main reason is that they lump all potential companies as state-owned in China. This is quite expansive as a definition. This is used all the time to say China isn't being fair. I'm an economist studying China for what it's worth. Yeah, of course it's not fair. It's not fair because centralized planning is more effective than the decentralized, subsidy-backed way that we do economic planning in this country. That's why it's not fair. That's why the European Union will come out and be like, the Chinese electric vehicles are going to wipe out our entire automotive industry unless we literally fucking add tariffs to the Chinese made EVs, because they're literally a fraction of the cost of all of the European cars that we are manufacturing, and they're competitive. It's not fair. Their products are too good and their price points are too low. Every instance of trade war and foreign policy revolving around China from the Western world is literally, how did we let it get this way? How do we allow China to become the bad bitch? This is fucked up. We must do something about it. You understand? That's literally all of the conversation. Everyone constantly goes, dude, what the fuck? We thought we could use them as slave labor in perpetuity. We didn't realize that our capital owners moving manufacturing to China was going to end up devastating our countries. That's what it is. We didn't realize that they wouldn't operate like India, for example. That we didn't realize that they would actually have a longer term plan in mind with the way that they used foreign capital to engage in even development. This was unacceptable. We thought this entire time that we could just keep using and abusing the Chinese labor force. What the fuck? People always talk about how, the Chinese manufacturing is stealing our IP. It's like, brother, you think that the companies didn't know that? It's a part of the process. They were like, yeah, you stupid Chinese will never be able to actually fucking steal our ingenious IP. You will never be able to make competitive products. That was the idea. Once they actually started making competitive products and even better products, actually, they went, oh my God, what the fuck's going on? Oh shit, we can't do anything about it because we're too reliant on Chinese manufacturing. 1 second, you're talking about Chinese industrial central planning policy. The next, you're talking about your cock and balls. I love this stream. Yeah. Joint venture tech transfer, 100% voluntary. The only involuntary part of that is that, like, China is now a superpower and America and the Western world fucking hates that. That's the problem. Thanks. You want the... Yeah, I know. I wonder why people don't use this as an example of central planning beating free markets. What do you mean? They don't want to use that because they're capitalists. No one would want this. None of the powerful entities that control the Western governments would ever allow this to happen. This would mean we have to just, we have to change. We have to turn into a non-capitalist country, or at least one that is dictated by governments instead. According to a study by the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, China has taken a leading position in 37 out of the 44 critical and emerging technology areas. These areas include defense, space, robotics, energy, biotechnology, artificial intelligence, advanced materials, and quantum technology.
Values. That, coupled with numerous trade rule violations,
allowed President Trump to really restart the whole discussion about using tariffs to achieve certain objectives, such as punishing other countries, and the Biden administration has just continued that. So the whole environment has really changed from 20 years ago, when trade policy was pretty quiet business, and now we're talking about industrial policy, tariffs, subsidies, and all these different
What do you think capitals will do if China's only going to continue to dominate? They're doing it already. It's called fascism, okay? That's what they're going to do. That's it.
interventions because the whole global and geopolitical environment has changed quite dramatically.
And it would change even more dramatically with Trump's proposed tariff plan. In the short run, we know the economy will suffer. In the long,
I think one of the best examples you can use in your immediate life is TikTok. China fucking comes in and makes this insane product that is insanely addictive, okay? Insanely addictive. But once it reaches mass consumption and everybody loves it and everyone's addicted to it, it becomes more politically consequential to ban it, okay? America's like, oh, I like this product. You should be forced to divest from this product that is very successful. You should sell this to an American capitalist instead. Okay? That's it. And China's like, no, I'm not going to do that. America's a tiny part of the, TikTok marketplace. It's fine. We're not going to do that. Instead, we're just going to lobby the American government in the same way that any other corporation does. And we're going to activate all the fucking people that love TikTok to go and call their congresspersons. Once you got a sweet taste of that liquid crack cocaine, of that internet crack, it's too hard. It's too hard to take it away.
Run, no one really knows. Will it be a war between the US and the rest of the world, or the Western world against China? Trump wants to play a game of chicken to find out.
No, Hasan, stop spreading fake propaganda. China's dirt poor, I swear. We're a third world country. We're all eating rats like North Koreans, I promise. Yeah. EU wants technology transfer from China, EV tech. EU to demand technology transfers from Chinese companies. Huawei's Mate 70 now doesn't use American technology and is as good, if not better than Apple. This didn't have to happen. Trump and Biden gave up America's technology power and led by stupidly sanctioning Huawei in China. What did they expect? That China would roll over like Japan did in the 80s? We've had generations of arrogant, myopic, and stupid people running DC. Trump and Biden for shot into own goal. China for 3 from half court. This is why, God forbid, you say anything like even remotely normal about China. Okay? People get very mad. Oh, speaking of which, by the way, BDS works. Puma no longer sponsors the Israel Football Association. In a highly unusual move in December 2023, Puma leaked news to the Financial Times that it would not be renewing its contract with the IFA, set to expire at the end of December 2024. Kit providers don't announce that they won't be renewing a contract, let alone a year in advance. Puma was no longer able to sustain the growing pressure and wanted out, clearly illustrating the impact of the campaign to boycott Puma. We thank the many groups around the world that work tirelessly and relentlessly to force Puma to end its complicity with Israel's apartheid regime and its Gaza genocide. Yeah. I'm headed to Huawei Mate's 70 launch event in Shenzhen. Yes, Shenzhen Metro has business class. This phone chip, this OS event is a really big deal for Chinese tech and has big implications for U.S.-China relations. In May 2019, the U.S. Department of Commerce added Huawei and its affiliates to the Entity List, which restricts U.S. companies and allies from exporting tech to Huawei. They expected this to cripple Huawei because it wouldn't be able to acquire any semiconductors made with U.S. tech. The U.S. government assumed that by restricting Huawei's access to cutting-edge semiconductor manufacturing equipment, particularly extreme ultraviolet lithography machines from ASML, the company would be unable to produce cutting-edge chips at the process nodes smaller than 10 nm. EUV lithography is crucial for efficiently manufacturing chips at 7 nm and below, utilizing light with a wavelength of 13. I don't know what the fuck any of this shit means. It's nanometers, right? They're saying that you can't just like make these tiny-ass chips. Then on the morning of August 30th, Huawei quietly dropped the new flagship phone, the Mate 60 Pro. No product release event, no specs, nothing. At first, no one even knew if the phone had 5G because of all the US sanctions that cut Huawei off from advanced tech. A friend of that morning showed up in the lobby of my office with a new phone. We call it 4.99G, he said with a wink. We speed tested it at the 5G phones in our office, and it beat all of them. Huawei wasn't supposed to have a 5G chip. The timing of the drop was significant. U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo was in China that morning. The tech world waited a few days for the first teardowns to see what was inside. It caught everyone off guard, especially the U.S., because they thought Huawei couldn't even get close to this without the EUV tech. It turned out that Huawei had secretly been pouring tons of R&D for years into designing domestic chips. The chip's performance showed to Huawei and SMIC had overcome the technical limitations previously thought insurmountable with older DUV tech. The only remaining thread tying Huawei's phone to Western technology was that it ran on Android. That changes today. I don't know why Americans just like close their eyes and plug their ears to what is happening. Huawei's based their 5G tech on a scientific paper by Turkish scientist Erdal Atakan. Nice. This is the same principle behind the sanctions regime. Okay? If you sanction half the fucking planet, 60% of the poorest nations on the planet, then you are inevitably pushing people into creating a secondary market outside of those sanctions. The more people you sanction, the more allies the previously sanctioned countries have. If you sanction every country, for example, then you're not sanctioning anybody else. You're just sanctioning yourself. America has consistently, in their endless hubris, dominated the entire planet, thinking that the rest of the world would never catch up, that they would be consistently servile to the interests and the needs of the American marketplace. The reality of the matter is, this is why the One Belt, One Road initiative was so devastating. China wanted to develop Africa not exclusively because they wanted to extract raw minerals and rare earth metals and whatnot in a more efficient capacity. They also wanted to create a second market that would consume the products that they're developing, knowing full well that inevitably America will close off the consumption faucet, even if it hurts themselves in the process. It's not because like China wants to uplift the global south or whatever, and they're socialist or anything like that. They just wanted new customers. And that's what's going on. These are the types of moves that you can initiate if you have complete control over your economy and have the nice save. They don't want manufacturing to happen in Africa. No, they want Africa to be a second market of consumption. These are the types of things you can do if you control the entire economy, and that you are able to do whatever the fuck you want. Trump is facing a losing tariff war with China
It's
2 weeks
official.
ago.
Donald Trump has been elected president of the United States.
Donald Trump's first presidency gave...
And also have no respect for human rights, so no limitations. Yeah, that's fucking bullshit, okay? The idea that like it's an exclusively Chinese thing to not have any respect for human rights is hilarious when we are living in the United States of America and our Supreme Court recently ruled that American manufacturers on the global stage could utilize child slave labor, okay, as long as it's relegated to third-party subcontractors. It's ridiculous. No, everybody fucking has no respect for human rights, China included, okay? And in terms of numbers on the board, America is, historically speaking, far worse. So, and still continues to do insanely awful shit. We love talking. I mean, this is the same dynamic. We love talking about like mismanagement and famine due to genuinely devastating consequences that people in positions of power have implemented in like transitional socialist states. Okay, and we're like, oh, communism killed 7 quintillion, okay, 20 gorillion, omega billion people. And then we just look at the global capitalist marketplace where there is an abundance of food. There's a surplus of food. We throw food out. And that curing famine at the global level is simply a logistical problem. It's simply a problem born out of capitalism. And yet we do not contend with those deaths as deaths caused by capitalism. 14 million a year due to famine every year. But that's because people have not picked themselves up by their fucking bootstraps. Prior transitional socialist states have implemented methods and have failed and have caused widespread famine and massive amounts of deaths. This is true. But in this day and age, that is no longer a problem. And yet, while we have the capacity to feed everyone, the profit motive makes it so that we do not do that. I say one is more evil on its face than the other, if you want to use good-bad dynamics.
Washington a playbook of hardline tactics for preventing China from overtaking the U.S. as the world's dominant economic and technological power.
Trump introduced punitive tariffs on China, as well as trying to rebalance the trade deficit to try and contain China's economic rise, as well as trying to contain its military might.
To me, the most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff.
Trump is focused on raising tariffs to prevent China from shipping many of their goods into the United States that perhaps are subsidized by the government.
And his campaign for re-election left no doubt that his ambition for American supremacy was still his North Star.
We will hire American, buy American, build American, grow American, and show the whole world that the American dream is back.
But after 4 years out of the Oval Office, Trump is returning to face an emboldened, savvier China, and one the U.S. may already be losing its battle to contain. Tackling that is likely to be one of Trump's primary plot lines in the sequel to his first 4-year showdown with China. Let's rewind for a second. When China joined the World Trade Organization in 2001, it marked a new era in global economics. Lower trade barriers allowed China to ship cheap toys, t-shirts, and TVs around the globe, and an export bonanza that helped lift hundreds of millions of Chinese into the middle class. Then around here, 2 pivotal events occurred.
I am officially running for President of the United States.
And that same year, China officially revealed a 10-year plan to upgrade its thriving export economy with cutting-edge innovations.
Made in China 2025 is essentially President Xi Jinping's vision to secure China's place in the world as a preeminent global technological leader. At its heart, it's really about ensuring that China's national security goals are at the heart of its policy making.
It's the kind of grand ambition that would galvanize successive U.S. presidents into taking action.
Number one, but this is the first of many.
The U.S. efforts to contain China's growth began with tariffs and some of the trade policies in the Trump administration.
Basically, they sought to make it more expensive for Chinese companies to sell to the U.S. and consequently redress a massive trade deficit, the imbalance that occurs when a nation imports more from a country than it exports to it.
President Biden is holding back on a decision to scrap any Trump-era tariffs on China imports.
You can see this has had an impact. In 2023, the deficit shrank to the smallest total since 2010, reflecting a decline in imports shipped from China. But globally, China's productive prowess is at historic heights. Its manufactured goods trade surplus is the largest relative to global GDP of any country since the US right after World War II. Trump also introduced policies to control high-tech exports from U.S. manufacturers, as well as those of some allied economies, which were tightened by the Biden administration.
So that essentially makes it impossible or much harder to transfer U.S. goods or U.S. technologies into China.
The U.S. government stopped Huawei from being able to sell much of its telecom equipment into the United States, and then it went even a step further. It went to many of its allies around the world and tried to persuade them also to not let Huawei sell its equipment into their countries. That caused all sorts of problems for them. In 2022, they constrained China's ability to get the most advanced semiconductors out there, including AI chips that would be used to train models like ChatGPT. They also constrained the country's ability to get chip-making equipment, including the machines that make the most advanced.
Yeah, they literally went to the Netherlands, were like, you cannot work with fucking China.
Advanced chips that drive smartphones and also AI and quantum computing.
Massive appliances like these extreme ultraviolet lithography machines developed by Dutch company ASML. The constraints are also intended to hinder China's tech giants from developing anything that could threaten America's military superiority, a concern long intertwined with Washington's economic strategy.
In terms of semiconductors and these really sensitive technologies, China is still lagging behind the US. So we have seen some efficacy there.
But the data shows US-led export controls had an unintended side effect. They forced China to become more self-reliant and invest in its own science.
Yeah, unintended side effect? No shit, dude. Wait a minute. Why won't these guys just stop developing? What? Why won't they stop developing? I don't understand. Please stop. Please stop. Please. Stop, please. Excuse me. It would be nice if you stopped developing, please. Self-reliance is the best policy against American imperialism. That's right, baby. That's right. You know what I'm saying? Self-reliance is the best fucking policy. That's right. That's why Jusha will thrive one day, okay? Terrorism propaganda, I know. Guys, don't worry. Don't worry. In the upcoming administration, Trump will make it illegal to even think about repairing your John Deere tractors, okay? They will come to your house and kill you with autonomous robots if you even dare to think about fixing your own fucking hardware. That right there is true liberation, everyone. That right there is innovation, okay? If you even say, hey man, why are we giving 20 quintillion dollars to Israel this cycle? Can I please get some health care? They will come to your house and they will kill you. Okay? They will put you in the work camp that Thomas Homan, the human thumb, is the administrator of. That's real freedom, baby. Dare to dream. America first. We will make sure that you all say you love Israel and that they can do whatever they want, and you love America, and that we should bomb Mexico. It will be illegal to not say these things. It will be illegal to basically turn around and say, like, maybe we shouldn't bomb Mexico. They're a valuable trade partner. No, you're going to prison. Something funny about consumer rights versus corporations in China compared to the U.S. is, by the way, this is North Korea. This is not China. This is a DPRK song, but something funny about consumer rights and corporations in China compared to the U.S. is that when consumers have complaints in China, it's taken extremely seriously, like with Tesla. And in America, the companies lobby the FTC to make sure you can't click one button to cancel the predatory monthly subscription draining from your bank account. They will come to your house and kill you if you even say that that's bad, that you shouldn't be able to, that you should be able to click to cancel your subscriptions. You will go to jail. Or better yet, here, we have a solution to that problem. It's called Another App. Here, purchase with a $10 a month subscription. We will have this new surveillance technology that has access to all your passwords. Go in and cancel these subscriptions for you. How about that? That's called innovation, baby. That's called freedom. With a $500 per year subscription, you can give us your information and we will remove the virus we put on your computer. Yeah. It's cool, man. I don't know what you guys are complaining about. It's the best. America #1, okay? China not even #2, okay? China maybe like #5. Oh, that's amazing. Can we please talk about the conservatime mind for a second? What? This kid disappeared off the face of the planet after shooting Donald Trump? That's what happens when people die. Anyway. Made in China 2025, an industrial policy plan announced by Xi Jinping in 2015 has largely been a success. China has achieved global leadership position in 5 key technology categories and is catching fast in many others. It's also really annoying because it's like while they're doing that shit, okay, we're doing this shit, okay? They're doing that shit over there. This is what we're fucking predisposed with.
We'll do it for them. But you can stay. You can not help, but don't impede us, and do not knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from ICE, because that is a felony. And we got one hell of an attorney general coming in, Pam Bondi. I think she'll read that statute the same way I do it. I'm not a lawyer, but I can read, and we're going to have consequences for people who violate the law and try to prevent us from doing our job.
I do love Tom Homan because like he is melting in real time, okay? He is the perfect definition of like a non-human. Like he is straightforwardly fucking melting in front of our eyes. He's like fucking slurs. I can read, I promise you, Laura. A homunculus, yes. It's amazing. Yeah, he did this live. Yeah. He said, if you knowingly shelter an undocumented immigrant, we got our best noses, okay? We got our best guys for the job. They will find them. They will find the undocumented migrants, and they will make you suffer the consequences too. Yeah, we'll sniff them out. I'm going to tweet that. This is a good tweet. Let me tweet. Do people get the reference? What, from an incredibly famous movie? I think people will understand the reference. Anyway, this is I get the reference just by what he's wearing. Yeah, you can pretty much figure out what's going on here, you know? Oh no, that's anti-Semitic, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, making a direct comparison to a famous representation of a fucking Nazi who hunted Jewish people is actually really anti-Semitic. Yeah, it's only after the 6 millionth migrant that is killed in one of the concentration work camps because the American government decided it's actually infinitely cheaper to just start melting the undocumented migrants that are not completely enslaved at gunpoint. Only then can you make this comparison. There's no other reason to make this comparison. There's no reason to learn about history, as a matter of fact, because why could you learn? If you learn about history, then you start noticing the very clear similarities between, you know, former bad countries and this current country that I am conditioned into thinking is a good country. Anyway, let's get back to China.
Scientists and researchers.
They've been very aggressive in applying for patents that they think are going to help them develop domestic industries that are critical to their future.
When President Xi Jinping makes something a priority in China, he can point to banks to provide cheap financing. He can point to state-owned enterprises to throw their full weight behind backing.
Like, what do people think? Dude. What the fuck do people think like Nazi Germany's argument was? They, like, Did they think that Nazi Germany didn't also do a steady bit of dehumanizing propaganda to make Jewish people, to make the Volkish Germans think that all Jews were terrorists? They did. Like, we're running the same cycle. It wasn't like they woke up one day and were like, yes, we are evil. Yeah, we love doing evil. We know we are evil and we love doing it. It's our favorite thing is to be evil. That is why we're doing it. Like, no, people were fed a healthy diet of propaganda leading up to this moment. Okay? My suitcase. That's what the Germans said. Mein lolly. Which is why whenever I show like translated Hitler speeches is like identical to like current American and current Israeli speeches from key figures in both of these governments, you know?
That certain sector or industry.
For instance, backers of companies like Shanghai Microelectronics Equipment considered China's best bet for competing with ASML's advanced lithography machines.
At this point, I think everybody believes that they're many years away from being able to match ASML at the pinnacle of the industry, but they're pouring billions and billions of dollars into this effort, and they're very determined to be able to close the gap as much as they possibly can.
Evidence that China's semiconductor ecosystem was expanding emerged in 2023 when Huawei released the Mate 60, or more precisely, when Bloomberg News commissioned a research firm to take one apart.
Inside that phone was a semiconductor that was much more powerful than anybody thought China could make on its own.
It suggested instead of being 8 or 10 years behind the US, actually China was 4 to 5 years behind the US. But the cross application is what really worries DC, that if we can do this with a consumer product like a phone, it's just as easy to do this with much more sensitive technology that's used for military applications. In other areas, China really has charged ahead to take a lead.
Take a look at this chart. You can see China's market share of many high-tech exports growing, particularly EVs, despite US tariffs and restrictions on access to technology.
Ultimately, there is this idea that trade always gets through. And that's sort of what we see when we think about the EV industry in China. So, for example, a big EV automaker like BYD, it's already getting around some of these potential restrictions by building factories in places like Thailand, in Hungary, and in Brazil.
Trump wants to further limit imports of Chinese EVs and batteries, and in his second term may try to fulfill a popular campaign pledge to protect US car makers.
I will impose whatever tariffs are required, 100%,
You ain't never getting a
200%.
BYD car. The only time you get in a BYD car is if you go to Mexico or if you go to Canada and ride the bus, okay? That's it. If you are living in the United States of America, you are not getting a BYD car anytime soon. Not today, not tomorrow, not yesterday. I'm sorry, sucks to suck. It ain't happening, okay?
100%, 1,000%. They're not going to sell one car into
I mean, I wanted to, but like
the United States.
The concern in
No, Canada doesn't have BYD either. No, they do. They have it for bus fleets, I'm pretty sure. That's why I said they only have it. Yeah, unless you're fucking Ford CEO Jim Farley, which I think some of that is fake. I don't think he like only drives a BYD car exclusively, but I think he did go to China and saw BYD and was like, "Holy fuck, we're cooked."
in Washington is that the electric...
Soon, BYD also coming to Turkey as well, by the way.
Vehicles and some of the...
And yeah, it's not BYD. He owns a Xiaomi car, the Ford CEO.
The software behind them would be...
And no, you can't get a BYD car. You can't. It's not just the tariffs. They're not street legal, I'm pretty sure, in America. You can buy them in Mexico, though.
Be able to collect personal information and perhaps share it with the Chinese government, or at least with the companies that are involved in making those vehicles.
It's the kind of rhetoric Beijing has vehemently rejected.
China will continue to firmly safeguard legitimate rights and interests of its enterprises. And we resolutely support the Chinese companies in maintaining their rights in accordance with the law.
So, have two U.S. administrations hindered China in ways Trump initially intended? It doesn't appear so.
The vast majority of Made in China 2025 targets that Bloomberg tracks actually have been achieved or are on track to be achieved.
Tariffs have helped cut America's trade deficit with its rival. But, as we saw earlier, they haven't prevented China from boosting exports elsewhere. And while the US may have slowed Beijing's progress in some areas, like advanced chip making, overall, Xi Jinping's industrial policies are successfully advancing China's tech.
I don't understand. When I look at like economy broadcasters, they have a very different take on what's going on in China and the Chinese economy than all of my favorite YouTube channels. They keep telling me that China is on the verge of collapse yesterday. Why is it that Foreign Policy magazine or Bloomberg or Wall Street Journal has a noticeably different approach to what is happening with the Chinese economy and Chinese global dominance, as a matter of fact, than every one of my favorite fucking YouTubers that have millions and millions of views? I don't get it.
Technological capabilities. But even if the US hasn't managed to trip China yet, nobody expects a second Trump administration to stop trying.
If you look at the geopolitical...
Doesn't not letting Chinese EVs into the US harm consumers? Yes, but it doesn't even fucking matter. As long as we have a competitive EV industry, I don't even care, okay? Yes, I like Chinese EVs. I wish I could get one. But the reality of the matter is, as long as we had like good competitive domestic manufacturing, I would be happy, especially if the fucking laborers were paid well. The problem is we don't get that, and we don't get the Chinese EVs. It sucks. We have fucking Tesla. It sucks dick. As far as I understand, people didn't even express interest in the Ford F-150, which I'm thinking about getting, the Lightning. Marat really, really wants me to get the F-150 Lightning. I want the F-100 Illuminator, and I am willing to suck off Jim Farley to do it, okay? I want it. I want it bad. I want the Illuminator. I want the fucking F-100 Concept, the EV one. And I will give Jim Farley the good suck. Please don't buy the huge kid killer. It's cool. Some kids have bad vibes. You know what I'm talking about. The F-100, I've shown you this before many times over. The problem is it's a concept. They only sell the battery package, which is like fucking $400,000 or some shit. Look at how beautiful this is. It is everything that I want. The only problem is it's a 2-seater. Sorry, a 3-seater. Find a good custom shop. You'll pay dearly for it, but they'll build it. If I was going to get a fucking custom EV, I would probably get a Bronco. They have Bronco Resto-Maz with EV packages already. It's not even a problem. And they're probably a little bit more reliable. What? Respectfully, that's one of the ugliest vehicles I've ever seen. You guys are so insane. Have you... They're saying... Okay, chat is conflicted on this. Okay, look at this.
Enjoying a rainy day with an inflatable blow-up bed in your car.
I will say that the Chinese EVs and Chinese cars in general do have a lot of bloat. Like, I don't really give a fuck about a lot of the amenities. They max out some of the craziest shit.
In a random forest or someone's garden by the look of it. Oh, it's nice, though. Open all sunshades. 2 of them? Take my money.
No, I'm not doing car content.
So you can take the headrest off. Well, I think a lot of cars can do that. Oh, hold up. Oh, well, this just got a little bit saucy. What are we doing that for, then? That looks like a very convenient angle. A little T. Oh, haha. What are we laughing at? So that inflatable bed, does that come with the car? And then you can blind all the window. Oh, my God, I'd have the best nap of my life. Little bit of Netflix on if you've got a screen in the car. Oh, I can see one. Tesla, eat your heart out. I'd love a Tesla, I'll be honest. Open the rear entertainment for... There's another screen. Take my money. And what they watch anime.
Imagine the back shots. Jesus Christ.
Well, but you know what? This is... If I'm gonna leave this world, I wouldn't mind it being in this position with a dog.
Yeah, I know. It's stupid. I'm not like a... I'm not crazy for all the extra... shit that the Chinese cars have.
Landscape, I think it's clear that the United States will continue to apply pressure on their life for more restriction.
How this sequel to Trump's first confrontation with China will play out is yet to be written. But if you listen to Trump, it's clear that keeping America on top is his ultimate goal.
We can do things that nobody else can do. China doesn't have what we have. Nobody has what we have.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, but this guy knows what's up.
Have is foreign products, which are going to be significantly more expensive. And you have American products where the company is able to lower their price because they're able to sell in volume. But yeah, if you want to continue to buy foreign, shit's going to be more expensive. But if you're willing to buy the American product.
How are you going to buy domestic bananas? How are you going to buy domestic coffee? What are you going to do when there's not enough like lumber? Okay. What do you do then? It's just like, what are you going to do? Are you going to go to the national forest and just like chop down a tree yourself? The fuck are you going to do? I know. Murat says you actually can do that. I know. We're planning on doing that, by the way, chat. Oh, yeah. No, I know that. Are you against any form of American protectionism? No, dummy. Why would I be against American protectionism? I actually manufacture garments, okay? I have merch. It's from ideology.shop. You can go and purchase it if you want. The price points are incredibly fucking reasonable, especially when you consider the fact that they are domestically produced in the United fucking States of America with domestic union labor shops. Do you understand me? Trump's tariffs will probably end up harming that as well because the raw materials necessary for the garments itself probably still come from foreign nations, but it doesn't matter. Ultimately, I already live by those principles. You, on the other hand, will suffer. Do you understand? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you get it? How are we going to get our domestic maple supply?
Which is actually employing people here in the U.S. They actually have to pay their employees a real wage with real benefits and keeping the money here in the United States economy. Yeah, you're going to get a better price if you go with the American companies. So, Aaron, I just want to point out that this is the point. Like, this is what we expect to happen. Foreign shit, more expensive. American made, lower priced. And yes, Aaron, this is what we voted for.
Murat said he's right. American shit will be relatively lower than the foreign shit. It's just going to be more expensive than what it is today. The Porsche copycat for 41K.
Behind me is a Xiaomi SU7, and this is one of the most impressive vehicles from China.
I fucking hate this guy. He always gets to drive the sickest Chinese cars.
This makes 673 horsepower, can do 497 miles on a charge. It can go 10 to 80% in 20 minutes, and because it's all-wheel drive, the 0 to 60, 2.7 seconds.
Murat.
You get drilled Brembo brakes, you have sticky Michelin tires, and you get air suspension to keep you comfortable. You also get an active wing here in the back. You get a lot of space here in the front, and a lot in the back with even more under there. And inside, I get this gigantic glass roof, speakers on my headrest, bucket seats that are heated and ventilated. I have a touchscreen that works super fast, 2 wireless charging pads, physical AC controls. I can adjust my wing, adjust my suspension. I get storage in here, tons of storage space under here. I have an augmented reality head-up display, a camera to make sure I don't fall asleep, and a boost mode. I also have an area to mount a GoPro, and my screen can do. I get good space in the back, built-in cup holders. I have storage space right here and a built-in cooler. I don't know what's more impressive, the fact that this is $41,500 US, the fact that they make an ultra version that beat a Taycan around the Nürburgring, or the fact that this is the first car this company's ever made.
Anyway, I still prefer old school looking cars with EV swaps, to be fair, to the new annoying looking cars like this, but people about to learn the nature of the global economy. Motherfuckers about to get educated. Them anarchists going to do them community gardens. Them anarchists going to expand the community banana trade. Yeah. No, it's going to be real funny when like all these fucking hogs want to get like, I don't know, domestically manufactured substitutes for goods that they normally got. And they have to go to like some fucking crust punk's backyard garden that he fertilized with his own shit. Okay. It's going to be awesome. It's like, yeah, man, this is ethical fair trade banana that I grew in my own garden. I've been fertilizing it with my own fecal matter. Anyway, yeah, the best part about this is, like I've said, the inherent hypocrisy in the fucking tariff situation is that it straightforwardly destroys so many key Trump industries.
Particularly against Mexico and other Central American countries, was basically the central pillar of his diplomatic approach to migration when it came to this region. So yes, while those economic concerns are true, you know, the president-elect he does gravitate towards immigration and migration as his primary issue. This is one of his basically go-to steps when it comes to his approach for these nations. The other thing that's not being talked about as much is sort of Mexico's response to this as well. You know, in order to do many of those ambitious plans that the president-elect has been talking about, sweeping border restrictions, mass deportations, you also need somebody to take in those people that you're reporting, that being the Mexican government. They've been basically a collaborator and one of the prime reasons that the Biden administration has been able to drive down border crossings recently. And today, the Mexican government also issued a response to the president-elect.
Hey, just before you jump in, just to read that response from Claudia Sheinbaum, the Mexican president. She said, President Trump, neither threats nor tariffs will resolve the issue of migration or drug consumption in the United States. Cooperation and shared understanding are required to face these important challenges. Imposing one tariff would mean another comes in response, continuing like this until we put shared companies at risk. A pretty stark warning.
It is a stark warning, and I think that statement comes from a sentiment that I would hear often in Mexico as well while reporting there, and that's that there are officials in the Mexican government that also feel as if they have some leverage, you know, with this new administration. We often talk about this as, you know, the president-elect Trump, you know, issues threat to Mexico and has these immigration demands. Well, Mexico also knows that, you know, the U.S. needs Mexico in terms of many of these plans when it comes to the border. And that was one of the more sort of direct statements I've heard. But it was something that I think you often hear privately that's now made its way to the public when it comes
Manu,
to
can I say just a quick word on China?
Sure.
China is a little bit different than Mexico and Canada. Obviously, those two are the biggest trading partners, they're close allies. But with China, Trump really has used tariffs as a means. He talks about fentanyl quite a bit and kind of uses that as the punitive measure. But really, he's trying to force them into a position where he can get them to negotiate better trade deals. He says that they take advantage of the U.S. And so that's been his tactic all along. And it was very controversial under the first Trump administration. But the Biden administration, when they came in, they did a review and decided not to reverse a lot of those tariffs. And so actually, both parties have come quite a long way since the first Trump administration.
Open up economy to free trade. Domestic industry facing higher competition starts failing. Sharply felt downsides allow populists to point the finger at minorities. Class in LATAM, POC in the West. Populist reintroduces tariffs back to the start. I mean, it's not going to go back to the start.
When it comes to China in particular, it is much more controversial for countries like Mexico and Canada. But with China, there's a little bit more tolerance from both parties for actions like this. And I think you're going to see that even moving forward.
One thing, though, has been, you know, Trump has had a shifting ideology on a lot.
Like the most interesting aspect of this would be if Donald Trump was like, he just magically overnight was like, we are literally fucking building factories to ensure that we have competitive domestic manufacturing to keep up with these tariffs, you know? Except who's going to fucking work the factories? They're not going to pay enough.
A lot of issues over the years, shall we say, to put it mildly, on some issues in particular. Tariffs has been different. This is Trump from 24 years ago.
There are a lot of things I'd do if I were elected, but one thing I do definitely is stop other countries from ripping off the United States. They are ripping us like we've never been ripped before. If you look at Japan, if you look at China, where we lose $100 billion a year with China, and they do nothing to help us with potentially our biggest problem of all, and that's going to be North Korea. So I would start right at that point.
And at the time, Trump was actually flirting with the presidential run, possibly alongside Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura on the Reform Party ticket. A lot has changed, but not Trump on tariffs.
Well, you have to think, too, he probably is a businessman and in getting merchandise from China has.
He said North Korea's our biggest enemy, dude. That's so funny.
Some experience with it.
He was actually kind of hot back then. Shut up. Shut up. You are delusional, okay? Get the fuck out of here.
Clearly felt like he wasn't getting the deal that he deserved. And this is one of those areas where he does feel like he, you know, has a clear through line. I mean, that's very rarely do you see Trump 20 years ago kind of saying the exact same thing as he is saying today.
Exactly. And he said it obviously on the campaign trail. But I want to actually turn right now to CNN's Matt Egan, who has some new reporting on how the Trump administration we'll see, pick and choose which companies pay for tariffs. Experts worry it's a process that opens up the door to potentially corrupt decision making. So, Matt, what are you learning?
Well, Manu, there is a system in place for U.S. companies trying to avoid paying tariffs, especially on China. But businesses and researchers tell CNN that that system is broken. So we're talking about tariff exclusions. And U.S. companies can apply for what amounts to a hall pass to avoid paying those tariffs on China if they can show that it would cause severe economic harm to them or that they can't get the products elsewhere. Now, during the first Trump administration, these exclusions were very hard to get. Between 2018 and 2020, only about 1 in 7 companies that applied with the U.S. trade representative were able to get these exclusions. And lawmakers and companies, they feared that the USTR was able to kind of pick winners and losers by deciding who got these exclusions and who didn't. And business owners fear.
What is it? Isn't there like a study on this straight up from the Trump era where they looked at who was more likely to get exemptions for their tariffs, for the Chinese tariffs, like out of all the who will get the exemptions, I wonder, for people, for everyone doing trade with China. I mean, Trump would never curry favor with his loyalists. I mean, that's not.
Feared that there was a lack of transparency with this process that opened it up to potentially allowing officials to play political favoritism. And there is some academic research that supports that. Some peer-reviewed research finds that firms whose executives backed Republicans, they were able to get exclusions 1 in 5 amount of times, so 1 in 5 chance.
What?
But compare that to firms whose executives backed Democrats, just a 1 in 10 chance. And
what? Guys, stop. This is shocking to me. I thought he was an earnest guy who was trying to do MAGA communism. What?
And to be clear, getting this tariff exclusion was...
Guys, I'm just finding out about this Trump guy, and it feels, now I don't want to get crazy, but it feels like he might be not the most honest broker. Okay? I'm starting to feel like he's maybe a little dishonest, maybe a little corrupt.
It was a very big deal. Manu, for some firms, this was a do or die situation.
Is there a sense that this time around, Matt, that this process may be any different?
Yeah, Manu, that's one of the many things we don't know at this point. We don't know whether or not the Trump administration is even going to have an exclusion system this time around. I did reach out to the transition, and they said that Trump will protect American workers, but they did.
Yeah, this is Erdogan shit, 100%. It is.
Did not answer any questions.
Turks in the chat know exactly what Trump is doing, okay? He is building his own rank of wealthy people in his orbit.
Questions about whether or not there's going to be any reforms to the exclusion system, or if there's going to be the ability to apply for exclusions in the first place. But the researchers, they did not allege any wrongdoing by companies or by U.S. officials. But they did say that this tariff exclusion system amounts to a very effective spoils system, allowing the administration of the day to reward its political friends and punish its enemies. And one business executive told me that the process is potentially corrupt because it allows winners and losers to emerge from a process that is not transparent. And again, there's a lot at stake here. Companies are already trying to navigate and game out how they're going to avoid these new tariffs. I spoke to a business owner from Los Angeles who, in 2018, applied for a tariff exclusion on imports of air fryers from China. And like many other people, that exclusion was denied. And he said his company was on the up and up, and this totally halted their growth, dead in their tracks. And this business owner, he rejected the argument from Trump that China is the one that pays these tariffs. He told me, and I'm going to abbreviate in case my kids...
It's not a rejection of the argument. It's just that's not how it works. I don't know why we're still saying like, oh, Trump's argument is wrong, or Trump's argument is this or that. It's just like straightforwardly not how this works. China does not pay the fucking price of the tariffs. Neither does Mexico nor Canada. You pay the tariffs, okay? You pay it when the cost is carried on to the consumer, and the intermediary that is purchasing the raw goods, like the materials are paying it at the point of entry into the country.
There's a new sheriff in town, and he is not playing around. President-elect Trump
Oh, the tariff sheriff.
is announcing that on day one, he will impose a 25% tariff on all products from Mexico and Canada if they do not take action to stop the flow of migrants and illicit fentanyl flooding into our country. He also wants to slap an additional 10% tariff on Chinese goods. Trump's opening salvo already has Canada and Mexico scrambling to negotiate. Mexico's president now claims that migrant caravans are no longer reaching the border. And just 2 hours after Trump posted the threats, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau hopped on a phone call with the president-elect. Watch.
It was a good call. This is something that we can do, laying out the facts, moving forward in constructive ways. This is a relationship that we know takes a certain amount of working on, and that's what we'll do.
And the new sheriff has an enforcer. Trump's incoming border czar, Tom Homan, he's on the ground today in Eagle Pass, Texas, along with Governor Greg Abbott, to get a firsthand look at the crisis that's seen wave after wave of migrants pour across, including 50 unaccompanied children just last night. Homan telling folks to get ready.
President Trump's one bad president to secure this border at a level we've never seen before. Biden's the first president in the history of this nation who came into office and unsecured the border on purpose. Game on. Time to get this done.
Trump's borders are also putting Democrats on notice who are promising to resist his immigration plans.
I'm sending a message for the people that said they're going to get in our way. They're going to stop us from doing what we're doing on an interior enforcement operation. I've said 100 times in the last week, don't cross that line. It is a felony to knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from immigration authorities. Don't test it.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm doing it.
The nation wants a safe country. We've had enough crime in this country,
Suck
like
my
illegal
dick.
alien crime. It's time to end it and stop it.
So we get our rundown around 11 a.m. every day. And the thing I've been looking forward to the most is another debate about tariffs between Harold and Jesse Waters. So, Harold, let me let you start, Harold, and tell me what you think about this.
Good to be back. The president, during the campaign, was crystal clear about his position on tariffs. He said two things that I thought were interesting. One, he believes that
Ugh, no Jessica Tarkov. God damn it. This guy sucks.
bilateral relations and negotiations with tariffs will help him extract concessions from countries, be it on this border security or economic security. I think some of the threats that the president's put down, or I should say the challenges that he's put down the table today, you have to also remember that the other side knows the president also. They've read the book, The Art of the Deal, that they understand that he has said that he is going to look to extract things from other countries. I'm rooting for him. I'm a strong believer, though, that tariffs usually don't work. If you are looking to incite the other side to raise prices, or you accept that there's a risk that they will raise prices on American goods, you basically just double up the price increases. Now, my pal Jesse and I have had this conversation on air and off air, and I know that his belief is that President Trump will do this the right way, that President Trump will walk right up to the edge and not go unconditional tariffs everywhere. I hope you're right. And I have greater confidence now that Scott Bessent is the designee for Treasury Secretary. One last thing, Dana. I hope that
This guy sucks.
Don't. I hope
An analogy?
Okay, sure.
you want to hold my hand, or you want to
This is a safe one. Unlike, let's say Jesse Jr.'s room is a mess, and it's been like that for 2 weeks. And my wife, Emma, who I love, but this is just an analogy, has been soft and has not made him clean up his room. So now Jesse Sr. comes home and says, Jesse Jr., if you don't have that room cleaned up by 6 o'clock, no allowance. Okay? Now, there's no need to panic. It's not 6 o'clock yet. He may clean up the room. He may get his allowance. And if he doesn't do it, then he'll survive. All this is a threat that there will be consequences. That's all this is. Now, Emma, again, my wife, who I love, just is just an analogy, can't complain. She has no right to complain because what she's done has not worked. Just like Biden and the Wall Street Democrats can't complain either because what they've done with Mexico and China has not worked either. So, Harold, I think you have to sit this one out, and all these people running their mouths about tariffs have to sit this out because this is Donald Trump's deal. If you have a guy who had 4 years with no inflation and tariffs, how can you say now tariffs are going to drive up inflation? You can't. What he's doing now, also, as a reminder, we're about to renegotiate USMCA. And he's going in day one with a very strong negotiation position now. He's adding a national security component to this, fentanyl and migration. And remember, we do tariffs for national security stuff all the time, like steel. We threw up tariffs on steel and aluminum because, heaven forbid, anything happens with Taiwan. You don't want to have to rely on Chinese steel imports when you're in the middle of a war in the Pacific. That's just stupid. Chinese EV manufacturers are building plants in Mexico. Do you think Trump's going to tolerate that? They're going to sneak around import duties and try to ship cheap EVs and flood the U.S. market? Hell no. So this happens all of the time. I'm not worried about it. And if I hear one more word out of you, Harold, we're never speaking again.
Tariff.
Judge, let me turn it over to you. I was like, there's 20 different questions I could ask you, but let me just turn it over to see what you want to talk about.
Well, I appreciate that. I think the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that this isn't Hollywood. And I love you, Harold. You know that.
God, better get out that Tom Cruise jacket man, and put a suit on.
Tom Homan is not.
They're not even. I feel like they're not even covering the impact of the tariffs as much, but they're just like flexing on Tom Homan being muscular in his border policies, because even these fucking dildos understand what is going on here, I think. Could be wrong, of course, but after reporting the story, I think it could be very much one of the biggest fights of Trump 2.0. Trump White House is set to make a huge push to pull federal dollars from sanctuary cities, believing that they got an election mandate to pursue mass deportations. But many blue cities and states are equally adamant that they have no legal obligation to help ICE. And in a rudderless Democratic Party, they could have a strong political incentive to resist. If the courts give Trump latitude here, a big if, I wonder how this gets resolved, because looking ahead, it's hard to see who backs down. Steve Bannon tells me Chicago, Denver, New York City could all be potential targets here. He adds, this sanctuary cities thing will be an early administration showdown, and I believe Trump will come down as hard as you can see. The sanctuary cities movement will be finished under President Trump. He's not going to play any games here. This is too important to the country. You can't play two smash mouth with this crowd. You have to do it early, and you have to do it hard. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson also told me that the point of the sanctuary cities fight is to distract Americans from Trump's agenda to cut tax for the rich and corporations. Johnson added, we're not intimidated or in the least bit afraid of threats that wish to undermine our values or any effort to separate working people from one another. I'm certainly not going to compromise our local police department's work by adding a component to their work that is not just. Our work in structural engineering and the tariffs on steel and aluminum hurt the home building industry so much. Each home built cost upwards of $50K more directly went to the home buyers. ICE agent is going to be posting on TikTok after not checking in Murderapolis. Yeah, Tom Homan is going to be like, yo, I'm sorry, Abdullahi runs Murderapolis. I'm sorry, I didn't know what the truth was.
Every community that
Abdullahi runs Murderapolis. He owns me. Also, wallahi, he runs Murderapolis. This is interesting. This is from YouTube Drama.
Every community that Diddy G Brigades turns into the same shit show, just a HasanAbi snark page LeMayo. I saw H3 subreddit. I think you should make other accounts and just brigade the fuck out of like all of this shit and harass these people. Like if he's just gonna accuse us of doing every single thing that he literally does on his community, like you can literally watch Hasan AstroTurf, LSF, and YouTube comment sections in real time live. Like he does it on his stream. So if you think so, then yeah, do it. Make other accounts. Make sure you have a VPN. I need a VPN.
I think there's something very funny about him saying this while he's literally tracking my Discord. On his own subreddit with 700 upvotes and acting as though he hasn't been doing that. Like, I don't even think this works, right? Like, does this gaslighting ever work on anybody? Does it? I tweeted, actively demanding his audience brigade, stalk, and harass while using VPNs is wild, except it's even wilder that this gremlin is trying to gaslight people into acting like he wasn't already doing this while his community is stalking my Discord. He's saying he wants to openly brigade. It's a bannable offense by YouTube, and I assume virtually every other platform, by the way.
Make other accounts. Make sure you have a VPN. I need a VPN sponsor. Yeah, and do it. And harass them or abuse them or whatever. I guess if that's what you want to do. I mean, because there's no difference between... I didn't even say anything. I just didn't say anything. Because we're all doing that already, right? So, okay. Have fun, I guess. Stand back and stand by.
You guys need to make up and go on a date. I think you need to perish from this chat. Destiny asks his community to continue doing what they're already doing. Amazing. I don't understand why the r/Destiny subreddit isn't banned. They brigade like no other subreddit. The H3 subreddit has more overlap with this community than any other entirely because they've been doing an anti-Hassan brigade. There literally was never as much overlap between the Hassan sub and H3 sub when they did a show together. LSF is another one. Any post that mentions Hassan instantly receives the entire Destiny community. I've never seen haters so dedicated. Yeah. One of Destiny's community members literally runs the LSF subreddit. So it's kind of funny that he's like, oh, they brigade LSF. What is this? This is just like incredibly fucking unhinged. So they just actively cyberstalk anyone and everyone and try. Oh, they have a hate watch cam. Is this even that bad, really? You know, wait, they had an active hate watch cam. This guy compiled messages from the DGG chat while they were actively hate watching. Guessing it's time to hate watch again. So are we hate watching? They just act angle of attack they possibly can, which is always. I am unhinged. I will cyberstalk Hassan. Cyberstalking right now. Oh yeah, they have a stream embed on a site for when Destiny isn't streaming, so they turn their offline chat into a hate watch chat. No fucking way. That's the craziest part about it. Is that like while they're in the process of hate watching, they're like, haha, yeah, we are doing it. I'm based for being a mentally ill cyber stalker. Always funny because like they say the N-word and stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like, this is a community that like thrives on edgy discourse. That they're literally immediately saying the N-word. Sick, man. Y'all are powerful. Edgy discourse that will also cry because someone personally said that like he reads Wikipedia. Like they'll lose their fucking minds. Oh my god, they're all spamming the N-word instantly as they're hate watching. Fly off the hinges. Like has apparently a wonderful little segment called Rape Review that his community calls when they look at like victims of sexual assault and find ways to poke holes in their arguments. So that's cool. And last but not least is always doing projection. Does a metric ton of awful shit to other content creators and then personally turns around and says, we are the real victims here, actually. Why the fuck does nobody like us? Wait, what do you mean? He 100% watches? He's like, he knows. They're like, yeah, he knows what we do in here. It must be. But then the other half is like, no, they're lying. Don't you do that, Hassan? Own personal. It's over. Where can we report this shit? I don't think there's much you can do to report it, to be fair. And yeah, his it seems like his community does a good bit. LSF opens up politics during Tile to fuck up LSF with politics. I don't get how Reddit and YouTube is still okay with it. I don't think people have like reported this kind of stuff. That's probably what it is. But I'm sure Reddit is aware of Destiny's subreddit like actively brigading, you know? Hassan, their community logs every message posted in this chat. Yeah, I know. I heard that. A DGGer got made mod of the H3 subreddit. That's why it looks more insane. Oh, nice. Meanwhile, in your Twitch and your Discord, the link to LSF is literally auto-modded. Yeah, I know. But we're doing that so that we can secretly... What is this? Embedding HasanAbi? Wait, what the fuck? They just have a straight embed on their website? Hassan is showing a live chat reaction where you said, oh, this is right now in real time. Where you said the M-word. Rainfall. They're literally watching right now. That's crazy. With 1,816 connections. That's crazy. I'm one of the strongest hate watchers and I'm not in the fucking video. Dude, I swear to God, it is. I've said this time and time again. Like, it is not healthy to behave like this. To all the stalkers, hello? I promise you, taking a shower, hitting the weights, you will fix your life. But the first step is just moving away from these communities that you're a part of, that you feel like you have a sense of purpose in. It's just making you a sadder person. I promise. It is harming you more than it does me. I know you think it's harming me and you can't cope with the reality that it doesn't, like none of these initiatives have been successful after 5 years. And maybe one day it will be, you know what I mean? One day we'll get them. It's going to happen. And it pisses him off or anything like that. And then when you can't figure out why, like, other content creators don't have the same energy that you guys have towards me, and then you're like, how is this possible? Why do they not like my God King Destiny the same way that they like Hasan? Does he have blackmail on every single streamer? Is that what it is? And then you end up compounding on the fucking crazy ass shit. You become like a QAnon person. I know you guys care about the truth. Deep down inside, I know you care about critical thinking and the truth. Okay? And I promise you, there is a reason why the way you see the world is directly at odds with the way other people outside of your immediate community see it. And it's the call is coming from inside the house, okay? Like, most normal people don't look at me with the same vitriol. He changed it, but D's Twitter header references communities anonymous alts for brigading. What is this? I don't know what this is. Together we fuck shit up. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's whatever. That's neither here nor there. This isn't going to work. I know it's not, but I don't care. If it even one person is like, damn, man, maybe I should. Diddy Dan is in Washington right now trying to team up with the right-wing politicians. Like, it's weird. That's weirdo behavior, dude. What's your argument for this community needing to expand its bubble as well? What do you mean by that? I mean, I routinely talk to people that I not only disagree with, but also actively seek out other content creators and do try to expand. I mean, I'm doing fucking mainstream media, and not only that, but also, you know, collaborating with other content creators and whatnot. Did you see this? They talked about you on a radio show. I did not. What is this? The guest called you hot. What's the time code?
Listener supported.
1859. Did I listen to this?
We'll talk about Joe Rogan.
You know, again, like I said earlier,
We'll find
right of mainstream media institute that people get on the right.
So here's a 1-minute sample for listeners who don't know. Hasan Piker, that sort of left of center influencer you're just talking about, describing the media diet for his cohort. And this is from a Crooked Media clip that was published on November 6th.
If you're a dude under the age of 30 and you have any hobbies whatsoever, whether it's playing video games, whether it's working out, whether it's, I don't know, listening to like a history podcast or whatever, every single facet of that is just completely dominated by center right to, I wouldn't say far right in the same way that it was back in like the 2016 era at the end of like Obama's administration, but like definitely center right to Trumpian right, like openly Trump right, not like genuinely neo-Nazi. That part is quieted down a little bit, but like they're like 90% of the way there for the most part. Mods, not everyone likes you. I know. There's plenty of people that don't like me. I know. It's all good. And that's it. Everything that they see is right-wing sentiment being expressed by individuals that they find charismatic, thought leaders, influencers that they subscribe to. And I think that that is some of the reason why you see this movement.
Hasan Piker, who himself, I gather, is 33 years old. Want to expand on that at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the draw that Hasan has that a lot of other influencers on the left don't have is that he is this like really hot, funny guy. And a lot of these kind of other influencers are on like the center right and stuff who cover, you know, gaming and sports and stuff, but do have these center right politics. They're mostly just like dudes having fun. And I think one thing that's really important is that these influencers are creating a sense of community and they're flattering the same grievances that a lot of young men have. Like, young men are so lonely and scared, and they, you know, are part of this sort of wider backlash to feminism at this exact moment. And these influencers are speaking to them in that way because they're like dudes having fun together doing dude stuff. And I think any kind of answer for the left, if you want to call it that, has to reckon with that.
Shanita in Brooklyn, you're on WNYC. Hi.
Damn, okay. I'll take it. But yeah, dudes having fun. That is what we try to do around these parts. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I wish all of you in the jump scare for the Hey Watchers Waters. I'm sure they've seen this already. But I wish all of you a happy life. I do. I want what's best for you. I still want you to get health care. I still want you to get free college. I want you to get all of it. All right? I really do. I want you to be able to get I want you to be able to pursue a meaningful life I want you to be able to have a meaningful existence in your workplace. You know, it's all good. I know you don't believe me when I say this, but I still do. If you got undocumented relatives, I'll fight for them. If you got trans relatives, or if you're trans, I'll fight for you. You know, it is what it is. Anyway, Walmart is joins growing list of companies to roll back diversity programs.
Morning, a major decision at Walmart, not about holiday sales, but about diversity programs, also known as DEI programs. It's joining a growing list of companies, rolling them back.
This morning, the world's largest retailer says it's rolling back some of its diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Walmart, which employs more than 1.5 million Americans, joins a list of major corporations revising DEI initiatives. The company saying every decision comes from a place of wanting to foster a sense of belonging, to open doors to opportunities for all our associates, customers, and suppliers.
This is the single largest employer in the United States. We are talking about a company that is worth almost...
This guy getting play is so gross. Robbie Starbuck. Yeah, it's real, man. This is really what happened. I can't believe this motherfucker is like a prominent... He is a prominent figure in the Republican movement. And it reminds me of this other prominent figure in the Republican movement. Scott Pressler, baby. Who called the CNN piece of hippies. Let's take a look.
Delivered. Those are the words of a man few people know, but a man who was key to Donald Trump's win in Pennsylvania. The controversial conservative activist, Scott Pressler, who's
He looks exactly like the other guy.
involved in the group Gays for Trump, a vocal election denier, goes...
I used to hate you. The more content of yours I saw, the more I saw you had reasonable takes, and the impression I've been given of you was incorrect. Keep being amazing. Hell yeah, Chatter. I'm glad that you were able to watch this content charitably.
by the Twitter handle, The Persistence. He helped deliver that all-important must-win state for Trump, in large part by focusing on, as he says, the Amish, frat guys, and hunters, among other groups. And Pressler, as our Ellie Reeve reports, is just getting started.
Everybody just big smile and look cute. Okay. Cheese. Cheese.
Scott Pressler is the kind of political figure only possible in the Trump era, going from social media influencer to actual proximity to power.
Scott.
Pressler is taking credit for turning Pennsylvania red. He created a PAC, Early Vote Action, to register voters.
Is there a reason the biggest critique I always hear about you from mostly sane people is that you cherry pick? Cherry pick what? Are the criticisms, I don't know who you're talking about in terms of like mostly sane people, but are the criticisms just that you're a cherry picker? Are the criticisms valid, or do they not actually stand on their own? Especially when, you know, oh, people you meet in real life, yeah, they're probably fucking watching clips, dude. What do you mean? Yeah. Why would that even be a fucking a problem? From like a random person that you meet in your life, you're like, hey, I really like this Hasan guy. I watch him and he's like, I hate that guy because he cherry picks. Honestly, this is more offensive than saying they're dying for nothing. Ukrainians are fighting and dying every day so that we can be safe and enjoy the right to say asinine, ignorant, and cowardly things on podcasts. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm just asking. I mean, you should ask them what they mean when they say cherry picker. I've never actually heard anybody say that. I wish someone could, you know, give an example of what they mean. But if I'm being super charitable, I assume they mean like, oh, he actually will address like the worst criticism that someone has made and not address like the reasonable criticisms that people are making. But the problem is they're not making reasonable criticisms. Yeah. The one consistent through line with a lot of people who hate me that most likely agree with a lot of what I talk about is that they've probably seen some clips and the clips that they saw left a sour taste in their mouth, and understandably they're busy, so they're not going to fucking examine further. They're not going to go to the root cause. They're not going to like make up their own mind. Many people do this. I am sure have been victim to this as well about other people, random people. And they just operate off of vibes, and sometimes they'll see like a drama tuber slop content that they watched and make up their minds and move on. And why should they? Why should they go further? You know, it makes sense. I also am very sarcastic usually, so that I think, like, I have a sarcastic tone when I talk that I think people don't fully understand. And if they're not aware of my convictions, if they're not aware of my worldview, that leads people astray. T-Pain thought I was a conservative for the longest time. You know? I think I rely too much on how much commentary I've dedicated to being anti-Trump, anti-Republican, anti-religious fundamentalism, that like the expectation is that people will know, especially if they find themselves in this community, exactly what I'm talking about, not considering that there are people that are not in this community that are simply seeing clips out of context. Now, of course, having said that, your sarcasm doesn't track with people below the age of 27. Yeah, I don't agree with that either. You're just saying that because people below the age of 27 are mostly relying on clips. They're not coming in here to watch. They're not learning anything about my worldview, and why should they? I totally understand it. And if your argument is, you know, or if your solution is stop being sarcastic, well, you're fucking stupid. I'm not going to stop doing commentary and trying to be entertaining in the way that I have developed my stream around, just because people are maliciously dedicated to framing me in a negative light. So yeah.
And targeted the Amish, frat guys, hunters, and other groups. His PAC got a $1 million donation from Elon Musk.
So walk us through how you do it.
When I tell the Amish that they can vote a private, secret ballot that is mailed to their house and they don't have to have their buggy seen going to a polling location, they love the mail-in ballot.
But a lot of people sort of come up as social media influencers and then they fizzle out. And you actually, you know, took the opportunity.
Yeah, he's fizzled out.
And started doing something quantifiable.
He was at the Capitol on January 6th and at Trump's return to the scene of his near assassination in Butler.
President Trump took a bullet for us.
Last week, Pressler was in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, because of a controversy over what ballots would be counted in the Senate recount. A frustrated county commissioner had said some misdated and unsigned ballots would be counted despite the rules.
If I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
This went very viral, in part because of Pressler. She apologized at the next meeting.
The passion in my heart got the best of me, and I apologize again for that. I made a mistake.
But by then, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court had ruled those ballots wouldn't be counted. Pressler and his fans had won. Yet they turned out anyway, and the room had a kind of intense vibe.
Do you think the 2020 election was stolen?
It definitely was stolen.
Okay, so can you explain something to me? Why, if they can steal an election, why would they steal it once but not this year?
Because people were
too big to rig. Too big to rig.
On to them. The divisions in the Democrats made it very hard for them to try and steal it again.
Thank you to every single patriot that showed up today. I think what you heard today is the frustration of people.
I think there's something really off about the way that every like Trump influencer carries themselves too. It's just like fucking weird.
People that have been told
they're so gross.
They are election deniers, and here we have a sitting commissioner that's an election denier, and we have a currently sitting Senator Bob Casey that is also an election denier, and it's almost karmic. And yes, that's why in part we were here to take a victory lap. We won, and we did it fair and square.
If we take that commissioner's words in the worst possible light, let's say she truly meant rules don't apply and she could count ballots that shouldn't be counted. She still failed to steal the election, right? Like, you guys still won Pennsylvania and Bucks County. So help me reconcile that with your past, with the Stop the Steal movement in 2020. Like, why could it have been stolen once but not a second time?
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. If we let them get away with doing this now, they'll do it in 2026, they'll do it in 2028. This was us peacefully putting our feet down and saying, no, enough is enough, and we're not going to allow you to do illegal and unlawful actions. And we're going to hold you accountable.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. I noticed that when you urge people to action,
yes,
you often include the word
peacefully.
Is that to avoid another Jan 6 type incident?
With all due respect, it's to avoid people like you guys saying that I'm anything but. My motto is to just be super cute, have my data and facts, treat everyone with love and respect, and as you can see, an army of people will follow.
And it was a small army, which included followers of a Korean church led by rapper King Bullethead.
Oh my God, it's the fucking AR-15 fucker, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. American transgressions in Korea have looped itself back to the United States of America. Oh my God. This fucking cult. Oh my God, dude. Oh, the payoff. The payoff is endless. Okay. We got to go back to Neo-Confucianism for you to fully comprehend what's going on here. Cult leader vibes out the tribes. No, he is literally a cult leader. This is the cult, the Moonies. This is the Moonies offshoot that like fucks their AR-15s. Like they marry their guns, dude.
So when you were up there speaking, it almost seemed like you were taking a bit of a victory lap for turning Pennsylvania and this county red.
Absolutely. A lot of people questioned our
all because these Americans sailed up the Han River and forced Korea to trade.
voter registration. They said, Scott, you know, flipping Bucks County to a plurality of registered Republicans, that's not going to translate into results. And yes, a little bit of the victory lap was here to say that for the first time since 1988, we flipped this county and it voted for President Trump. It's kind of, you know, saying to people, no, we're the real deal.
Pressler first got attention in 2017 when he worked for an anti-Muslim group and organized marches against Sharia, despite there being no Sharia law.
Organize marches against Sharia. Thank God, dude. Yeah, I know. I'm organizing marches against all the fucking elephants that are destroying my backyard.
In America. He was also involved with Gays for Trump.
You described yourself as a data guy.
Yes.
But early in your career, you were more of kind of like a social issues, culture war guy, like Gays for Trump or Act for America. Can you tell me about that shift in your career?
I have grown in how I approach politics. I see my work and my evolution in politics as I laid a foundation, and now I am meticulously building on that an esoteric understanding of how politics is going to win elections, focusing on demographic groups, get them registered, get them mobilized, get them out to vote.
Twice, RNC officials have indicated they would hire him, but it hasn't worked out. Still, he's built a loyal fan base.
Have you spoken to President Trump since the election?
I've spoken to Laura Trump.
What'd she say?
Our conversations out of respect to her and the Trump family are private, but she was congratulatory.
And what about Elon Musk?
I think he's a wonderful human being.
Have you talked to him since the election?
We've messaged. Okay. Nothing consequential.
God save America. Hallelujah.
Tonight.
It's not a hit piece. It's just a piece. I appreciate you talking to us, and I think we had a good conversation. I don't get why, like, it literally was somewhat of a puff piece. Why is he fucking mad? I don't understand it.
$1 trillion on its own.
Robbie Starbuck, a political commentator and anti-DEI activist, celebrated the development. He's previously pressured companies, including Lowe's and John Deere, to change their policies.
We were able to have frank conversations with Walmart. And as I've said for a long time, I don't ask companies to take on my political views. I am simply advocating for corporate neutrality.
Walmart says many of the changes to its DEI programs were already planned and not a result of conversations with Starbuck. The company is pledging to better monitor third-party marketplace items to make sure they don't feature sexual and transgender products aimed at minors. Walmart says it will also review its funding to Pride events and will end racial equity training programs for staff. GLAAD, an LGBTQ advocacy group, has said we cannot let fear and fringe anti-LGBTQ activists dilute the work that has been done in the name of visibility, acceptance, and opportunity.
Companies need to listen to our movement. We are powerful and growing every single day. We will not stop until we have eliminated wokeness in corporate America.
Walmart also says it will no longer consider race and gender as a way to increase diversity when offering supplier contracts.
Walmart is a great American company and the nation's largest retailer, more than 1.6 million American employees alone, and annual global revenue of nearly $650 billion.
My controversial opinion is that nothing is going to change, at least in this sector. Hey, isn't this that guy that hates Palestinians? Who? Oh, Tony Double Cirque? Yeah, he is. That's Tony Two-Tone. Mr. Two-Time. Double Cirque. Tony DeCoppel. So, speaking of Tony Double Cirque, I'm going to have Ta-Nehisi Coates on tomorrow. on the broadcast. I'll be interviewing him, but that's neither here nor there. I wanted to talk about this specifically. They're taking shit off the shelves. They did this shit. Yeah, I mean, the garbage, like, fucking LGBTQ branded product that, like, that's not moving the needle. It's already bullshit to begin with. It's like, oh, on Pride Month, we're doing this. Now, the response is worse. It's worse to just, like, put out that garbage shit and then only to take it, take it away as though you are caving and capitulating to this, like, right-wing mob. I think that is not good. It's infinitely better to just never have this to begin with. Or if you're going to have it, then just don't fucking take it off the shelves. It's a self-own. It's an own goal for no fucking reason whatsoever. But in terms of like, oh, we're stopping our DEI initiatives or whatever the fuck, like, I think, I don't know. I mean, I don't think this is going to change anything. LGBT books are nice, man. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about fucking like rainbow colored t-shirts or whatever the fuck. But overall, I don't think that they're going to change their like hiring practices dramatically. They're just saying that they're moving away from DEI initiatives, whatever the fuck that means. I don't think that that's a real. I don't think that there is any sort of real change, especially because a lot of the DEI practices was simply just like HR shit. Like they're not going to be like, we're no longer hiring gay people. You know what I mean?
I'm happy to say we're joined now for an exclusive interview with John Furner, the president and CEO of Walmart US. John, thank you very much for joining us. I want to get into holiday shopping. I want to get into grocery prices, but I got to ask you off the top to talk about this report I'm reading in today's Wall Street Journal about how Walmart is pulling back on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs under pressure from a conservative activist. So a few of the changes here.
Like, I hate that this is the peak of activism in America, is like always centered around consumption. You know what I mean? Walmart puts out like, I don't know, gay t-shirts or something. And then they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. We're going to take away the gay t-shirts. It's like, was the initial act even all that significant in terms of progress?
They're phasing out the term DEI, winding down the Center for Racial Equity, no longer giving priority treatment to suppliers based on race or gender diversity, and preventing sellers from listing some transgender-related or themed items on the website. So is that accurate from what you're hearing, and why the changes?
Well, first of all, good morning, and thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I'm in Houston, Texas, and our Friendswood location, so it's exciting to be in the store this time of year. First, let me say, like many companies all across the United States, we've been on a journey, and we continue to be on a.
The other part of this that I fear is like that right-wing Republicans see this as a massive victory, and so they'll move on to other more nefarious things that actually do end up harming gay people and trans people and shit like that. And also outside of that, this is seen as like giving the go-ahead to open up the faucet of hatred against marginalized communities in general, that like corporations are no longer even aesthetically in support of these marginalized groups.
A journey. And what we're trying to do is to ensure that every customer, every associate feels welcome here to shop and to feel like they belong. And that term belong, we've been talking about belonging now for almost 2 years.
CEOs coming in, stack the product like pyramids. Yeah, that's looking great. His background looks great.
Early 2023, we started talking about belonging. And we're going to continue to make the best decisions we can that makes everyone, our customers, our associates, feel like this is an environment they can shop in and thrive in.
Is diversity among your suppliers still important to you at Walmart, John?
Well, starting with our company back in 1962, we were a small business, a single store that operated out of Rogers, Arkansas. And so we'll continue to do the things that we can do to ensure that small suppliers have a path to being successful, not only at Walmart, but in their business in total. You know, every year we really focus on made in the USA. About 2/3 of what we sell is either made, grown, or assembled right here in the United States. We have a program every summer called Open Call, where we welcome in small suppliers and we welcome in people that have an idea, that are an entrepreneur and they want to learn. So we're going to continue to lean into ensuring that we provide the very best pathways for small businesses, our suppliers, to be successful here in the store. If I had more time, I could take you around the store and show you a few of those examples, but there are a lot of them, and there'll continue to be more.
All right, John, you mentioned that 2/3 of what you have is made in the U.S. Let's talk about that other third. President-elect Trump announced last night that on his first day in office, he will impose a 25% tariff on all products imported from Canada and Mexico. So how will that impact Walmart? What have y'all done to actually prepare for that? Have you guys been stockpiling in anticipation of these tariffs?
Well, first, I'll just say again, about 2/3 of what we sell is made, grown, or assembled here in the United States, and we've been very supportive all the way back to our founder of products that are made in the United States. Just a couple of days ago, someone sent me a photo of Mr. Walton, actually my father, who worked at the company with the president of Lodge, one of our brands that's here in the store, in camping cookware. So we'll be ready to we'll adjust to any environment. We've been in an environment with tariffs now for the last 7 years. And we have a team of people that are really experienced in managing.
Yeah, these avocados you see behind me have been assembled in the United States in an American facility, okay? Yes, it was picked in Mexico and shipped into the United States from Mexico, but we assembled it here.
Changes in the environment. Now, our purpose is to try to keep prices low, to help people save money and enable them to live better. Now, certainly there'll be some occasions.
Damn, dude, Walmart seems dope. When you hear the CEO say, oh, our main purpose is not to farm American subsidies paid for by the tax dollars and heavily rely on the welfare state in an effort to refuse to pay any of our workers an honest wage, where me and my brothers and sisters own 50% of shares of the company. So every single day we edge closer and closer to being the wealthiest Americans. And as a collective, we are the wealthiest family in America. But hey, we care about you. We don't care about that. We care about making sure costs are low. You know, that's one of the craziest parts about the Walton family is that you directly, Walmart shares directly enrich them, 7 people. Okay. When they make moves, 7 total people are getting billions of fucking dollars directly in their pocket. It's crazy. It's not, well, this guy's not a Walton. I thought maybe he was one of the Walton. I thought one of the CEOs was a Walton. No, I guess not. My bad. He's just a high paid, is he not? Wait, hold on. Let's look. Walmart CEO. Oh, wait. Oh, this is Doug McMillan? He looks very different here. What the fuck? Do I have face blindness? John Furner. Oh, John Furner is the former CEO of Sam's Club. He began his career at Walmart in 1993. He became the president and CEO of Walmart US in November 2019. Walmart US and Walmart are different. He's wearing the same damn suit in the Wikipedia page. No, that's a gray one. Walton. Bro went employee to CEO, kind of nice with it. Yeah, they're just a small mom and pop shop, chat.
Where you may see some impact on price, but we'll do everything we can between our suppliers, our supply chain, and do.
I want to make a correction. It's not 50%. It's an estimated 45% of Walmart stock is held between the families of 7 heirs founders of Sam Walton and his brother Bud. I said it's around 50% or 50%. I was wrong. Is actually 45%.
Do everything we can to help ensure that we're as efficient as possible to keep prices as low as we can. And that's exactly what we do each and every day, including right now in the holidays.
Are you worried about the tariffs, though?
Well, we want to do everything we can, as I mentioned, to keep prices as low as possible. Right now, we just know what we've heard and what we've read about in the last 24 hours. And those changes, they may happen, they may not. That'll be up to the administration. But we'll be evaluating carefully. And we want to ensure that we have great values for our customers. I mean, this week we have a Thanksgiving basket where you can feed your family for under $7. And it's a quality meal. This is 29 ingredients, all proportioned appropriately. There'll be great deals on Friday.
This motherfucker's doing an ad, bro. He literally turned a question about why they're melting all the gay stuff off the shelves into how much they love feeding the poor and the hungry for an affordable price, and then and it's just straight up doing a fucking ad. Fuck this guy. Drake files another lawsuit, by the way, today. And Elon Musk is
So,
musing
Carrie, I wanna ask
about
you about
buying
this idea of media
MSNBC.
takeover because-
Oh, damn, Chuck Roach is there. Okay, let's go. Okay, not bad.
After Elon Musk purchased Twitter, changed it into X, there's no doubt that he exercised some power there.
Dude, because poor people need to know where to buy affordable shit, you're out of touch. I'm a government employee. Why are you yelling at me, dude? The fuck? I didn't say there's something wrong with shopping at Walmart, dummy. Are you okay? I'm over here shitting on the fucking CEO of Walmart. This motherfucker's like, because you talking shit on them? I'm done, dude. I'm done. I'm done. No more. No more political commentary, okay? No more. No more politics. No politic here. No politic. No politic. Yeah, of course I'm talking shit on the fucking CEO of Walmart. Are you stupid? Well, the answer is yes. The answer is yes to are you stupid? The question is, are you stupid? The answer is yes. What's next, dude? I can't even talk shit about the fucking Walton family without getting chirped at by some motherfucker who's like, oh, I have to go there. Excuse me. I didn't say shit about you, dumbass. Until now. The fuck? What is happening? No, I'm smart because I save money from Walmart. Oh my God. F off. Bro, is a fedayeen for Walmart is crazy. Do you think that I was saying go buy your groceries elsewhere? Are you the CEO? What is happening right now? I didn't say nothing about people who shop at Walmart. The fuck? Why is a 36-month subscriber being like, bro, it's a good store? Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, we're done. I'm gonna take your someone needs to take your phone away. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, we're never getting socialism. I'm just gonna keep it real with you guys, okay? It is not happening. It is not happening. Okay? I thought this was a safe space where we could shit on a fucking CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company that keeps costs low by exclusively refusing to allow their employees to unionize, refusing to pay them honest and living wages, knowing full well that they are a massive recipient not only of government subsidies, but also social safety nets like the SNAP benefits that their employees then turn around and use at Walmart. Okay? Super common criticism of Walmart. Like, you could get your liberal dad to get mad at Walmart with that take. And we got a 36-month subscriber being like, shut your fucking mouth up, dude. How dare you? How dare you talk shit about the Walton family, brother? I go there every day. I go there every goddamn day. Like, you've lost the fucking plot. You just created a heater for shitting on Walmart. This is worse than the Bitcoin guy. A new hater has arisen. Yeah. How dare you talk about Walmart that way, man? Don't you know Walmart's got feelings, dude? They can hear you. Talk shit about Walmart on my watch. Not on my watch, dude. Say sorry. Say sorry, Mr. Walton. The fuck? You talk shit about Walmart, but they're not going to hear you. But you know who is going to hear you? A guy who misunderstood you and his feelings are hurt because he shops at Walmart. Okay. That's crazy. This is why that chatter is fetishizing his commodities in a way I never thought possible. Yeah. No, it's we've reached a final stage of commodity fetishization where we are now completely on board with like the extraction of surplus labor value. Okay. But also, if you criticize that process, you fucking suck, dog. Are you kidding me? There's no other way that I can get these affordable goods if it wasn't for the kind, honest man, the CEO, extracting the surplus labor value of people exactly like me that work at Walmart. Chatter's heard $7 Thanksgiving dinner and went, I will fucking die for my Lord Walton. Mr. Walton, sir.
So how do you hear this even ingest kind of purchase of a cable network?
Good to be with you tonight.
Good to be with you as well.
Lamar, I bought a turkey there earlier. Sorry, had a bad day. Had to spend $100 out of pocket because my insurance doesn't cover my meds. I'm tilted and sorry. It's okay, chatter. I wasn't yelling at you for shopping at Walmart. I was yelling at Mr. Walton. I wasn't even yelling. I was just like explaining things that they do that are pretty fucked. It's like, I wasn't even hitting like any sort of Marxist criticisms either. It was just like shit that even liberals don't like.
Thanks for having me. I think that we should believe everything that is said coming from this administration. I don't think that we have the luxury to dismiss it as him being someone who's being funny or someone who is just being himself or that is his brand. X, and you said in some ways, always. I feel like X, I don't know if anyone is on it in any capacity. I don't know if you're on it. And you're the only one? You're on it? You all are on it? Okay. I've actually decided to take a rest of peace because it is not a peaceful place for me. And I know if in fact you don't agree with this current administration, most people can say that it's not a peaceful place. I wouldn't be surprised if there was an actual bid made to take on MSNBC, but the fact that it just can't happen in real life.
And we
It
just can't.
It's
Officially
not even
for sale.
It's not officially for sale.
The last
It's not
time he
even
mused
realistic.
about maybe buying something,
It's
he
not
ended
even
up doing
realistic in real life, but I do believe that media, everyone sitting here at this table, if you don't agree, we are in for some tough years ahead. I do believe that we are not going to be able to be as safe or say what we want to. I don't think free speech is going to be as free.
Now, Scott, I want to bring you in here because this kind of link to Orban, we don't pull it from nowhere. There was a former member of the Hungarian parliament who was writing in Politico who kind of talked about this effort by that government and how specific it was in terms of purchasing media specifically for propaganda. Do you hear why they're making that connection?
I mean, is the concern that certain media outlets would become propaganda arms of political ideologies? I mean, don't we already have that in this country at a large scale? I mean, also, I heard what you're saying about X. I saw a survey this week. It's now the most ideologically balanced user platform.
Now that we got some goddamn Nazis on there, some goddamn Nazis, thank God it's ideologically balanced over at X, dude. Come on, dude. CNN is so funny. It's like they have to have this Nazi to make this thing ideologically balanced, this panel.
Scott, stop. It's too early. I just sat down. I've only been here for 2 minutes. You cannot continue to say you cannot say that. That's not the case. Who's the source of that?
What I find, we reported it on this network.
It's not accurate, and you know it.
Okay, I'll let you make your statement.
Scott,
but my point is
can I reframe it a different way? Because the site changed radically, right? So whether you think the voices it is somehow more balanced now, that's fine. But no doubt Musk's influence is profound, and that you open it up and now you're there with his opinion, and he is now part of this administration. So does anyone else think that there should be this greater concern about billionaires purchasing media companies?
Okay. Would you be worried if Bill Gates controlled MSNBC?
No, because he's sane.
Because MS in MSNBC
it was MS.
comes from Microsoft. It was a partnership between Microsoft and NBC way back in the 1990s, back when Microsoft was under investigation by Bill Clinton's DOJ for monopoly. I don't remember anybody panicking over MSNBC back then.
No, they definitely did. But yeah, continue. Well, like Fox was launching, MSNBC was launching. The cable news network was shifting. The landscape was shifting.
Isn't the issue that the left has gotten so used to controlling almost all institutional information distribution arms in this country that when one little piece of it, whether it's X or MSNBC or anything else, gets taken away, the panic is so outrageous. I mean, that's how used to the left is having control of all of it.
I don't think that that's an accurate assessment when you look at something like Sinclair Broadcasting Group that has purchased most of the local newspapers and local television stations and sends out distributed information.
CNN needs to be like, what are you talking about? Even we're kind of center right wing now. Fox News is 73% of all mainstream news consumption for network television. For 73%. These guys are living in fucking just a different plane of existence. It is crazy. This was the source, but I refuse to believe Twitter is balanced. Elon Musk is winning even if his popularity ratings are down. He's remade Twitter in his image, turning it from a Democratic bastion to one that is far more evenly divided and friendly to the GOP. Moreover, Musk's wealth has ballooned in ways that are tough to imagine.
In the wrong direction, so wrong direction when it comes to popularity.
A lot of these days have to do with when he bought Twitter. How's Twitter doing?
This is going in the wrong direction, so U.S. adults who use...
Wait, I don't understand. Yeah, U.S. adults who used Twitter in 2022 was 27%. Now it's 21%. Facebook is also an incredible right-wing shithole. Instagram is a little bit more balanced. TikTok obviously is no holds barred, but
Twitter/X. Before Musk bought it, it was 27%. Look at where it's now. It's 21%. It's again going in the wrong direction, and it's very different from the potential other clients. You know, TikTok's up a little bit, Instagram's up a little bit, Facebook's down, but just a point well within the margin of error. Twitter/X is unique in that it is
Kaya,
actually
chill.
losing adults
Jesus
who say
Christ.
they are using this particular social media client, Mr. Berman.
But how's he doing? How's he really doing?
Yeah, how is he really doing? So if you looked at that opening slide, what did it say? It seems like Elon Musk is losing, but he's
wait for mommy Fidelina Castro to initiate revenge colonization. What are you talking about? You keep repeating that over and over again. Are you talking about this story? Ana de Armas
I'm not cute.
apparently is getting in hot water because she's dating the stepson of Cuba's president, which is so crazy. The Cuban diaspora once again. The Cuban diaspora in the United States of America once again. Hey, chill out. God damn. Fiona's here. And Kaya is, of course, not being normal. Cuban diaspora in the United States of America are so fucking crazy because they're mad at a Cuban woman who like grew up in. Oh, this woman isn't even Cuban. She's just from Miami. Wait, shut the fuck up. She's not even Cuban.
Cuban, but I grew up in Miami. Okay. The majority of my friends are Cuban. I'm not Cuban, but I grew up in Miami. Okay.
Are you fucking for real? Are you fucking insane? So you're mad at a Cuban woman for dating the stepson of the Cuban president? Like you're LARPing as a fucking Cuban diaspora guy? What the fuck? Bro, Ana de Armas grew up in Cuba. Like she's Cuban Spaniard. But like she grew up in Cuba until she was 18, if I'm not mistaken. Am I wrong? Isn't she Cuban? Like she's literally fucking Cuban. What are we doing? This is a 36-year-old Cuban woman who is in a consensual adult relationship with another Cuban man, and motherfuckers are like, I don't think that's valid. What the fuck? These people are out of control, man.
Okay. The majority of my friends are Cuban. The majority of people who taught me in school, my teachers, the people who fed me, the parents of my friends, the people who supported me, who picked me up from school, my after school program counselors, my summer camp counselors, Cuban people, okay? And what happens when you talk to a lot of Cuban people? They tell you about their origin stories. And let me just say this, nobody in their right fucking mind swims at the dead of night risking death 90 miles to a town where they may or may not have work, family, support, community, because what they were leaving was so fucking great. And I hate.
Yo, who the fuck are you? Like, what the fuck? Who? Bro, she's Cuban, dumbass. Hey, yo. What are you saying right now? Ana de Armas is fucking Cuban. She lived in Cuba until she was 18. What the fuck are you saying? She's like, nobody in their right mind would ever dare like Cuba or date another Cuban person. Yeah. Listen, guys. Listen. Essay. I am not Mexicano. Okay? I am not Chicano. I have been around Latinx. Okay? Let me tell you, I do not speak a lick of Spanish. No hablas español, essay. But if I catch a Mexican celebrity dating the Morena Party's Claudia Sheinbaum, let me tell you, we are gonna have words, okay? Here to tell you what I think. That's right. Like, how is this news, man? How is this fucking news? She's a traitor to Cuba. Bitch, she's Cuban. What are these people saying? What the hell, man?
I hate criticizing women, especially Latin women. Ana, the stepson of a dictator, is a slap in the face of the community that supports her. Not even the Latin community, but her Cuban.
What the hell is going on, dude? Yo, Americans need to shut the fuck up, okay? Americans need to shut their dumb asses up. I'm done, okay? If you're an American, fuck you, okay? If you're an American, you need to shut your stupid ass up, okay? You're done. You're done. No more Americans. No more American conversations. I do not want to hear from anyone in Miami. I do not care what you have to say. I do not want to hear anything that you have. If you're from Miami, I don't want to hear anything you have to say about anything at all. Go back to cryptocurrencies. Go back to talking about fucking rug pulls or whatever the fuck you're shilling, okay? I'm done. I'm done. We need to do a Xi Jinping style firewall on the internet in Florida. That's hurtful, big dog. Okay, I'm fucking joking. God damn it, chatters. Let me chirp. Fuck. Without people being like, oh, dude, are you talking about me? I'm in Cuba. I'm in Florida, Cuba.
Community. Cuba is in crisis, but that's not the only thing that is insane to me. What's more insane to me is seeing Cuban people in
This woman is 34, an American, talking about another 36-year-old woman who is Cuban dating the stepson of the Cuban president. Like, it makes no damn sense, man. You should be embarrassed to put this out there. You should be embarrassed to say these things. And honestly, there's a hell of people who are probably fucking harping this up. Like, they're hyping it.
In comment sections, sharing their lived experience. I don't know about you, but with me, when a community tells me that they are in crisis or this happened to them and they need this and they need that and this is what's going on, I believe them. Maybe that's just me. But to have people who are not Cuban, have maybe read a book many years ago or given something a Google or been on Reddit telling.
Explain why this is embarrassing. What? Explain why this is embarrassing. She is a random American living in fucking Miami, shitting on a Cuban woman who's 36 goddamn years old, okay? Dating the son of the fucking stepson of the Cuban president. Like, why the fuck? Mind your own damn business. What the hell? She ain't even fucking Cuban. What's going on, dude? Why we can't just say mind your damn business? What the hell is this? Like, she's not even Cuban. I thought she was a fucking Cuban diaspora person who's like reactionary. He's gonna fucking start talking about how like Cubans are eating rats or whatever the fuck, you know? And then she opened up by being like, excuse me, I'm not even Cuban, but I've been around Cubans. And let me tell you, okay, they have some words for old Fidel.
Cuban people that they are wrong about their lived experience and it is propaganda is.
The embarrassing part is that she's not Cuban, but is calling out the Cuban woman for being traitors, basically. That, but also simultaneously, even if they were a Cuban American, like they're still shitting on a Cuban person making this voluntary decision. Do you understand?
I'm not Cuban, but I grew up in Miami.
314,000 likes. So not only is Ana de Armas the most beautiful person in the world, she also has an ethical, good politics. Hell yeah, brother. Empathy is so important. She was at the DNC. That's amazing. That's amazing. My New York sources have said Anna is plotting revenge to release her brother from political prison. Wait, what? She dated my friend and then blackmailed him. No, she's from Miami. Oh, you're talking about the TikTok girl? What is going on, dude? There's so many insane things happening in the chat right now. Omega Law, she follows you. Wait, she does? Oh, shit, she does. What the fuck? Well, probably not anymore. Not after this. This is crazy, okay? This is craziness. Leave people alone, okay? Leave people alone. What the fuck? Mind your business. It's free 99. No, Ana de Armas doesn't follow me. And just like that, another HasanAbi hater is born. Apparently you spoke to her at the DNC. Oh, God. Yeah, if you go into her comments, I will fucking eviscerate you, okay? I will laser you. If I catch a single one of you dumb fucks harassing this person, I will literally laser you off the face of the planet. Okay? But still, this is crazy. This is fucking crazy.
Disgusting and shameful. Cuban people seen by the people who need it the most. The Cuban.
Okay, I want more information on Ana de Armas dating this person though. Like, why the fuck is this news? Ana de Armas' rumored boyfriend is the son of Cuban dictator. Cuba's dictatorship. Cuba's dictatorship that recently fucking enshrined LGBT protections and abortion in the Constitution. Like, Cuba is so funny because like they also love that liberal shit too. Like they do a whole bit of that liberal shit as well. So ironically enough, America can't even hit him on the fucking on the liberalism. Like we got to liberalize Cuba type shit. I really want to go to Cuba. Knives Out actor was portrayed photographed kissing lawyer Manuel Anido Cuesta in Madrid, Spain. Shortly after, it was reported that Anido Cuesta is the stepson of the Cuban president Miguel Diaz-Canel Bermudez. His mother, Liz Cuesta Peraza, is Diaz-Canel's second wife. As a member of the presidential family, Anido Cuesta has participated in various official events and international trips, including a meeting with Pope Francis, according to the People en Español. Wow, maybe you should get mad at the fucking Pope too. Be like, oh my God, the Pope is meeting up with the family members of the dictatorship. The guy on the far right is Manuel Anido Cuesta. Oh my God, he is the one who's dating Ana de Armas. Okay, now I'm mad too. Never mind. I take back everything I said. That's what he looks like, bro. No, what are you doing? Described by several outlets as advisor to his stepfather, Anido Cuesta's ties to the Cuban regime have made him a polarizing figure. Anido Cuesta, who's a lawyer by profession, earned his degree from the University of Havana, where he studied from 2014 to 2019. The couple's rumored relationship became public when the Daily Mail published images of the pair kissing and enjoying a dinner date in Madrid. The Armas wore a white wrap coat, while Anido Cuesta was dressed in a navy coat. Other pictures in the evening show them walking her dog together. Though the Armas and Anido Cuesta have yet to publicly address their relationship, the actress' past comments have suggested she's not a fan of the spotlight on her personal life. Yeah, no shit, because people are fucking freaks. His stepdad, the Cuban president, goes to the Palestinian protest too, and Cuba brought in more Palestinians to have medical degree recently. I know Cope Pink is going to Cuba December 6th. I know. Reflecting on a highly publicized relationship with Ben Affleck. Yeah, dude. I mean, she upgraded. Actually, Ben Affleck is kind of woke too. Oh, never mind. He looks way hotter here. Okay, I take it back. Yeah, no disrespect. No disrespect to Cuba. Hey, I love you. I love you, Cuba. Okay? I love the Cuban government. I would like to visit one day. And also, no disrespect to this man. He is a hottie here. Okay? The other photo was Cuban diaspora Hasbara. They were doing Hasbara for little old Cuba, bro. They were saying he's ugly. I was wrong. Yeah, I assume. Crazy what a beard can do, right? Yeah. He's not bad looking. He's not bad looking. I mean, he's not. Respect. I hope they're happy. Should I know who this woman is? It's Ana de Armas, dude. What the fuck? She's a very famous actress. Why are you so shallow? I don't know, man. I'm just fucking human. Let me live, okay? Ay. Also, so many, like, oh, look at this woke person. Oh, I'm sorry that you're just much better than me, okay? As a human, you're much better than me as a human. Everybody, clap for the chatter. That one friend who's too woke. You can't even fucking say like a hot celebrity is hot or their boyfriend is attractive, okay? Congratulations, chatter. You win the woke award. You did it. You won it today. You're the woke of the day, okay? She's not that famous outside straight and gay men love her though. Despite the Cuban Spanish actress' efforts to maintain privacy, the backlash over her romance with Anido Cuesta has been swift and fierce, particularly among members of the Cuban diaspora. Yeah, no shit. Some critics have taken her to social media with the concerns promoting the actor to limit comments on her accounts. The controversy is even spilled into her professional. Calls for brands like Louis Vuitton to cut ties under Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton's Instagram post of its campaign with the Armas, some comments accuse her of aligning with the Cuban regime, which they view as oppressive. It's oppressive. Unlike the state of Florida, where shit is dope and you can't get a fucking abortion. Okay? Why won't Cuba have restrictions on abortion? Therefore, no oppression. Okay? Fuck. Controversy dating. It's truly disheartening when someone, particularly a fellow Cuban, aligns themselves with a regime that has brought so much pain and oppression to our people, wrote fashion and travel influencer Luis Caballero. For any Cuban that not only supports such a regime, but also engage with its inner circle, like dating Diaz-Canel's son-in-law, and advisor feels like a betrayal of the shared struggle for liberty and justice. I hate that. The blockade just got 10 years longer, okay? We need to starve the Cubans for the crimes that Ana de Armas has committed by being in a consensual relationship with the stepson of the fucking president, dude. Is she even diaspora? No, she's just straight Cuban, dude. She just grew up in Cuba until she was 18. That's what makes this even funnier. That's what's hilarious about it. Yeah. This isn't the first time that Armas' personal life has drawn public attention. Her relationship history has included other high-profile pictures or figures. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, she went from dating Tinder executive to this guy. It was so much better. What an upgrade. Anyway, they should have considered how this would make people who have never left the city limits of Miami feel. Yeah. You know how in One Piece the government went after Ace because he was Roger's son? This is the same shit, dude. And there are clips of Anna saying she loves her country, Cuba. Yeah, Cubans are very fucking proud people. Like, they're very resilient. What do you mean? They've overcome great odds. Like, the grossest superpower on the fucking planet happens to be seated at the ass cheeks of this tiny island nation, okay? And they've instituted one of the worst blockades that the entire global community is against, with the exception of Israel and the United States of America. That's it, okay? No one else. Consistently, year over year, everyone is like, hey, America, maybe you should lift the fucking sanctions regime that you've implemented, the inhumane blockade that you have on Cuba, this tiny island nation, punishing them for the crimes of having a socialist revolution. Can you please just take the fucking L, okay? Just take the fucking L. Batista is dead. He's long gone. Take the fucking L, please, for the love of Christ. And America's like, nah. Yeah, there was a vote on it last month. I know. You care to? Yeah. I wonder which of the 2 states that voted no on stopping the blockade against Cuba. America and Israel. Good guy shit. I think it was Argentina that abstained, or maybe they voted against it too. Or no, Ukraine abstained. No, fuck this guy. Nepo baby motherfucker. He cannot date Anna. We must sanction him. Okay, your own personal opinions about how if Ana de Armas had not found the fucking stepson of the Cuban president, she would have been dating you is inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, okay? Anyway, my whole family's here. We're going to do a pre-Thanksgiving dinner before Thanksgiving Eve even, and I got to go. I got to run. Cuba is on the state-sponsored terrorism list, so be careful of spreading terrorist propaganda. Yes, fucking ridiculous. Anyway, love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Ta-Nehisi Coates on the broadcast tomorrow. Get ready. Get excited. That's going to be a fun conversation. We'll talk about his mindset shift, his vibe shift overall, and the vibe shift of the media as well, and many other things. Love you all. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
The starlight to the starlight to the topic just begun. There he is again, her sun is streaming, her sun is streaming. There, her sun is streaming, her sun is streaming. Reviewing the P.O. box, Uncle Uger's face. In Discord at your prop, great names take on breath. Tiny Bernie Sanders, LGBTQ Air Force. The whole left at your finger, and they at your door. Crowded debate, the Young Turks online show. 3 full fucking years of this, plenty more to go. 90-day fiance talks of Trump rally live reaction on mass riot at DC. There again, her sun is streaming, her sun is streaming. There he is again, her sun is streaming, her sun is streaming. Reading a live stream, fair comments, Austin show chat advice, and all the ways the right-wing pipeline can suck you in online. JCS react, Lord frame gets broken, cover blown. system you were taught to trust in was broken the whole time. All these daily streams, whether big or whether small, have helped me and so many find the meaning through it all. There is again, her sun is streaming, her sun is streaming.